Today we will be mapping out Oshawa from the perspective of a real estate investor and a realtor. And yeah, so Cameron, do you just want to quickly introduce yourself?
Yeah, first off, thanks for having me on here. I'm looking forward to talking Oshawa with everyone and sharing some insights for sure. My name is Cameron Cassidy. I'm an investor-focused real estate agent in Oshawa in the Durham region. Also very active investor myself, doing flips, spurs, and we were just chatting a little bit about some of the multifamily or the commercial investments getting into
Yep.
as well, which is kind of neat. Also teach the commercial program at Humber College. To new sales reps that are coming in. Yeah, I own a small business in Oshawa as well, so I'll do a little bit of everything. You can see that okay?
Yes, sir.
Good. Okay, so this is Oshawa,
Okay.
the map of it. A couple points, maybe I'll just talk about a couple major points within the city for those maybe not familiar with it. Kind of some of the attractions, obviously GM being, a big employer here, a big driver, kind of what Oshawa has been known for. So this is the GM plant and lands all right here that actually runs here. And this is just their parking lot right here. So they own a lot of this land right just south of the 401 here. If I zoom back out, obviously the 401 being here, most people are just driving right through it. I like to break it down into a couple different sections, right? You have a Highway 2, and then you have Roslyn Road, which is right here, and then
Okay.
Thompson Road as well, and obviously the 407 up top here. And this is Durham College. Ontario Tech is the new name for the university. Another big kind of growing area, tons of new development happening up here. We'll talk a bit about the Legal 2 unit as well. Small little airport here, downtown Oshawa, growing quite a bit. The Oshawa Center, you can see temporarily closed, but yeah, it's big attraction here. This is the Stevenson exit off the 401, which you'll see me talk a little bit about as well. Big super center development happening as well. And I guess two of the big major points, as you can see these railway tracks, is the two new GO train stations coming to Oshawa, which I can point out for you here as well. The first one, let me just get my bearings here, is coming on Thornton Road, which is right here. So this is going to be GO train station 1. Right
Okay.
here. And then if you follow the track along here, you can start to see right here. This is GO train station number 2 in this area. This is used to be an old Nob Hill Farms. Right here, they already got the parking lot. You're right here.
So this is in Oshawa, eh?
In Oshawa. So 2 new GO
Wow.
train station extensions coming to Oshawa, one in Curtis and then one in Bowmanville as well.
Okay.
So this is, some of the main drivers of why I'm so bullish on Oshawa. Obviously with the 2 highways that were just built, the 418 brand new, 412, and then the 407 extension. So you can kind of see the little hub here of, growing with Ontario Tech, Durham College, even down south by the water. I'm very, very bullish on. There is lots of changes happening there with as far as new developments, redevelopments, Oshawa, even the GM plant, changing what their kind of focus is with the truck plant reopening, but they're also creating like an autonomous test track as well.
Really?
Yeah, so lots of good positivity happen in Oshawa. But any questions on anything about?
Yeah. For the GM plant, like I've heard that it had a crisis, I guess, right back in the day. But how's it doing now? And
Yeah, well, they shut down in 20. They announced that they were closing down GM in Oshawa in, is that 2018? Maybe even 2019. And then just recently they said, you know what, we're going to open back up. And of course, the news was everywhere when they were shutting down.
yeah.
They're opening back up. No one said a word, right? And they did announce that they were going to have their autonomous test track being built as well. But a lot of people don't know this is the assembly plant, but they also have their right here. This is their engineering department, which is a big building right here. And they also have their headquarters here.
Okay.
Let where are we here? Yeah, you come around right here. GM headquarters is right here,
Uh,
right? So they're more than Oshawa than just manufacturing, right? And Ontario Tech, the university is growing, and their big focus coming downtown Oshawa with them as well. So
yeah.
yeah,
No.
lots of jobs, lots of growth. Obviously with the highways and the GO train stations, there's just lots coming, right? Lots of big money coming into Oshawa.
Yeah, when I used to work at the nuclear power plant, OPG, like a lot of people from OPG used to work in, live in Oshawa, right? Just because of
Mhm.
cheaper real estate.
Yeah.
So, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's the interesting point, right? Like Whitby right here is considered more expensive, nicer, a
a
lot
lot
newer
more.
homes. Curtis here, which is Clarington, again, Oshawa still has that stigma, which gives you that lower price point, but it also they're an older city, so they have a lot of those older 50s, 60s bungalows that
Hmm.
a lot of the investors are targeting. There's just a lot of inventory for them.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. All right, let's start mapping our areas then.
Yeah, so a couple areas that I like. So breaking down the city as a whole, basically what I say, the first thing you got to remember or notice or realize if you're looking for properties, if especially if you're converting to legal two units, which is
Yeah.
kind of the common strategy, is there is a restricted area around the college. So it kind of starts, and this little pocket right here is excluded from it. So that's
Hmm.
kind of where I like to start. If I were to say do a little map around here. All of this area running all the way up here. I don't know if it'll let me do that. Um, yeah, this runs up a little bit higher, but
Okay.
no legal two units. That's all student housing, all restricted right in here.
Oh,
So you can
because of the university.
Yeah, so cannot make a legal two unit. I get a lot of people wanting properties in here. So these are all student housing areas. So Durham College right here, Ontario Tech building everything. There's all little student housing pockets in here. Great if that's the investment strategy you're looking for. I love this little pocket right here because you
Hmm.
can legalize and you're close to the college. So you kind of get a little bit
The
of both.
best of, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and this is
And,
Taunton Road right here. This is
mhm.
all kind of new Oshawa, or what I call Poshawa, is the kind of nickname. But these are all the $1 million 4 bedroom 2 car garage homes. Not really what we're looking for investors, right?
This is where I find you. I'm joking.
What's that?
This is where I find you. This is where I
Where?
find you living.
No, it ain't.
I'm playing. I'm playing.
I'm in Whitby.
Okay, so for the non-restricted area, for the restricted area,
Mhm.
um, what's like okay, what's the average student rental go for?
Yeah, student rental in Oshawa now they're going for around 650. I don't like the investment the student rental strategy in Oshawa. Just to be frank,
Okay.
I feel like they're overpriced. You're still getting like the 550 to 650 per room, but I feel like you're getting that same room rental in Peterborough for a fraction of the cost.
Mm, yeah.
So I've mostly steered people away from doing student rentals in Oshawa. I don't really like the strategy. I'm a big legal two unit guy, obviously, but I like
Yeah.
to make sure people are just aware of this restricted area first, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Um, then, kind of as you go further south, prices get cheaper in Oshawa. So this is the most expensive area. We stay away from here. Um,
Oshawa.
yeah, exactly. We don't even go up past Taunton. This is Taunton Road right here. Once you get into here, even a lot of these areas, the Centennial area,
Yeah.
really nice area. There is some kind of nasty apartment buildings right around here.
Okay.
Ritson Road right here, all non-quan in here, it's called. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
again, stay away in here, but Centennial's kind of a strange area, right? There's some older homes here. There are some nice bungalows on here that can work. Um, but more or less we're looking at, kind of the prime areas. I'll give you my 1, 2 areas. The best area that I find is right here. This is the area that I like to target. So this is Park Road that comes right here. So this is the McLaughlin area. So if I were
Okay.
to go like this, kind of follow the creek around, I actually like to stay north of Adelaide. So in here, it's kind of a little bit bad as well. Uh,
Okay.
and go all the way to Thornton. So this is Lachlan area. Really nice. A lot of 50-foot frontage bungalows. I would say if this is if it was my choice to buy a property to legalize and to invest in, this would be my first choice.
Okay.
I'm currently working on a project right now that I purchased as well on Madison, which is one of these little side streets. I can't remember which one exactly. But yeah, good little area, all nice, massive properties. So my property is 58 by 130. So just nice big properties, 50s, 60s bungalows, all can be converted into legal 2 units, A+ area.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
you're going to be looking at spending right now around 7 to 720 for a fixer upper.
7 to 720. Okay.
But they're going to, and it's, so let's say you need 100K worth of work. So 30 up, 70 down to make it a nice legal 2 unit. So say you're in for 8 to 820. It's going to be worth 9 as a legal 2 unit, 9 to 910, even 920 in this area is what you're looking at for a legal 2 unit. Rent,
Okay.
upper, you're getting 2,300 plus utilities.
Okay.
Lower, you're getting around, I'll call it 1,700, so around $4,000 a month plus utilities
Okay.
in this area.
For that. Okay. Wow. Wow. And yeah, one thing I guess to note is like, if I was to follow this strategy and invest here, I or buy, versus buying a student rental. The thing about student rental is like, even, I might cash flow a little bit more, but it's just more headaches, right? And it's more intense. You know what I mean? It's by per room, a lot of turnover, right? So yeah, yeah, that
Definitely
just
a little
wanted.
bit more active strategy, more management needed. Management costs are going to go up, more work.
Yeah, but
Uh,
if you have the systems in place and that works for you, that works for you. But just like, I have a property in a really, really good area in Windsor.
mhm.
Like, we don't do nothing to it, right? Like, it's completely hands off. We just have a handyman. We don't even have a property manager. We like, our tenants are richer than us. You know what I mean? Like, so like, you kind of, it's kind of really hands off, right? So yeah, yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, good, good. So that's the first area. The other area I really like, you have Vanya area down here as well,
Mhm.
with the mall. So this little pocket right in here, let me draw it out for us. Right here is a small pocket. Um, but because you're right near the super center, right near the 401 exit, right across from the mall, Highway 2 here, lots of stores, great location, easy to get to the mall. Again, I would call this an A area. This would be probably my first choice. This would be like a close second choice right in this little pocket here. Uh,
Okay.
Bungalows as well. Again, you'll notice I also need that type of product as well. Kind of behind the mall here, there's all older homes that are built like in the 20s and 30s, a little bit more rundown. Another big part of thing of Oshawa you should know is you see this creek running right down the middle. Uh,
Yeah.
I try to avoid that. I like to be further away from that.
Why
It is
is that?
a big creek and there is flooding issues. Uh,
Okay.
you also have Cloaca, which if we pulled up like the floodplain, you'd see the floodplain kind of spill in all right here. So even all these houses can't be legalized as well because they're in the floodplain.
Oh,
Mhm.
fair point. Fair point.
Yeah. So we have McLaughlin area, Vanya area,
And
and
for Vanier, like, is to buy a house, is it the same price point as a 700, 720?
pretty similar. I'd say you're a little bit cheaper here, but not much, right? Like maybe you get
Yeah.
7 here where you're 710 up here.
Mm.
You know,
And the rents.
very similar, very similar.
Yeah.
23 up.
Okay.
You'll see the rents don't change much throughout
Yeah.
the areas. It's more just the property prices.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so this next area is probably one of my personal favorites for the reason that prices are lower here.
Hmm.
And um, sorry, I'm just looking at my map
No,
here.
no, that's all good.
Ritson Central Park. Yeah, because so this is where this is tricky. So this is Ritson Road right here. Okay. Now, normally Donovan area is right here and Central is right here. This is Wilson Road right here, which normally separates um, the two lines, right? So Central being here,
Mm-hmm.
Donovan being here. But I actually like this little pocket in Central, only this little pocket. And I
Okay.
like to go down to, where's Olive? Olive right here. I like to stay north of Olive, and I'll go all the way to here. I would actually go, actually, I'm going to go like this. This gets too expensive.
So Central is a little bad, kind of.
Yeah, in
Not the
downtown
best.
Oshawa Central is not good.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes this little pocket right here uh,
It's good within.
is good within Central.
I hear you.
Like
I
50s
hear you.
bungalows in here, nice quiet streets, good little pocket in here. On this
Mm-hmm.
side of Ritson, no, we're getting more towards downtown. We're getting more towards, these are the worst streets in Oshawa right here. Salina, Albert, Olive. These are where that fire was in Oshawa, where the person just died recently. There's all the row houses right here. So I don't want to be anywhere near this area. Banting, horrible streets, horrible area. You want to
Okay.
stay away from here and anywhere down here. But as soon as you get on this side of Ritson, this area is central still, right? So if you were to look at a house on a listing, it would show
Mm-hmm.
central. So but and people would look at that like a negative thing. I actually don't mind this area at all. I own a house right here on Baldwin Street. Um,
Okay.
Legal 2 unit, does very well. It's now has under market rents. But again, good little pockets in here, brand new schools here. Love these streets. Any of these streets right above Olive. I don't mind these as well. Like even down here is not bad either. There's some good little pockets in here. Um, I would actually even come back down here. This pocket is not bad either. I would stay away from this pocket. And sorry, this is the way Oshawa is.
No, it's all good.
It's kind of a very you know
Block by block type of thing.
block by block,
Yeah, yeah.
right? So this is Donovan for sure.
Mhm.
And it just kind of depends on what's going on around there, right? So Donovan area, this area where there's Dean, the McDonald's here, there's all kind of townhouse here, co-ops, things like that. So I would stay away from all here. Love
Mhm.
this area as well. Lots of good little homes in here. Lots of legal 2 units. Actually, just sold a couple to clients here that are great. You have the Harmony exit right off the 401 right here, so you can pop right onto the 401. And again, back up to this area, all phenomenal areas. Willowdale, Keewatin, great areas. Very
Yeah.
undervalued, right? Most people know about McLaughlin. Most people know about Vanier. I think when articles came out, I don't know, in all these different popular articles, they always name McLaughlin and Vanier. So I feel like the prices go up there are just blown up, right? Like that's where I
Mhm.
would like to, but I feel like this area is where you'd get the most value. Meaning that you'd get something that would rent for the exact same in a really nice area, but just
Yeah.
as well known. So you'd still, trying to get something around 7. With bidding wars and that, it's tough, and it would still be worth 9 after the fact in these areas.
Okay. And the competition would be like easier, right? And
Well, again, that's what I like to think, that you have a better time, purchasing in this area as well.
oh,
Um, all up in here is really nice as well. Any of these areas, Central Park, Hillcroft, as well. So what happens, I find here is, um, again, just a lot more single family that you're competing with in here as well, right? Which I just find it trickier too. But I would the type of houses in here as well. You see a lot more split levels, so side splits, back splits, things like that. Where a lot of around here is just straight bungalows. These are all just streets of bungalows.
okay.
So I don't know if you want me to map that out, but again,
The,
this
the
area is not bad as well, right? So Eastdale area, All in here. There's just lots of different types of houses, 3-level splits, 4-level splits. I wouldn't be opposed. Let me just do a generic. Here's the Costco here. This is
Yeah.
Ritz. Yeah, so all in here are kind of houses that were built in the 1900s, 1910s, 1920s. A lot of
Yeah.
them don't work, but I would go, let me draw like this. Yeah, see the north of here, north of Roslyn, ends up being 2-story homes again, right? So this one is just tougher to find the right type of house that works. And there's a lots of either even 2 stories mixed in here, a lot of semi in here, just a lot of different variety of houses. These were built a little bit later. You have to watch out for aluminum wiring here. A lot of times these were built in the 70s.
Okay.
So you just have to keep an eye on that for
But
some.
the area is good though, like the
No, really good.
hypertenants.
No, really good, really good.
It's just that the houses aren't built, so
Yeah,
you might buy something with not a lot of potential, right?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Again, not that I don't like these areas above north of Roslyn. It just ends up getting too expensive and not making sense financially wise. But these are kind of the main areas: McLaughlin, Vanier, Donovan / a little bit of Central, and Eastdale would be my 4 main ones.
For like investing, right? Like a
Yeah,
burst strategy.
and then we
Yeah.
come down to Lakeview. Dun dun dun. So Lakeview is interesting, right? Because everyone from outside of Oshawa here, South Oshawa, don't go near it, right? Where, as you can see, I also don't like Central Oshawa. I don't like this area right here, right? This is all downtown Oshawa. I would say avoid that.
Stay away from Central Oshawa.
Yeah, just the style of
Right.
houses. There's a methadone clinic right downtown Oshawa on Simcoe Street. Again, you have the creek that runs down the middle. So you notice all of these homes are good, even besides these, but these are okay as far as basement floods and things like that, but they're dry, high and dry areas.
Yeah, like my dad, I think he owns a property in Central Oshawa, and he was having problems. He just bought it for the hell of it. Like he didn't really know
Yeah.
he had to dump some capital. So
Yeah.
he was telling me he was having you know problems getting tenants. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And I think he's rented it out for like 16 or maybe 18 at most, like
Yeah.
for like a single family home detached. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Not
Uh,
good.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I know.
Anyways,
That's why these are all really nice, quiet streets, big bungalows, 1,100 square foot, 1,000 square foot
yeah,
bungalows, nice side entrances, big backyards, uh,
yeah, yeah.
that kind of thing, right?
I
So
mean, if you're gonna pay like $150,000 for a better area, more potential, you know what I mean.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah. So South Oshawa is kind of tricky, right? Because
okay,
um, I actually have a lot of clients that have bought in here. I love the area because it has the highest potential. This is where you get the best deal, right?
okay,
This is where you get the absolute best deal because of the stigma, because people have heard that South Oshawa is bad. You have the GM plant right here. Like I mentioned, this is all GM right around here. So there's not even really houses to purchase here. It's just GM land.
okay,
The other area that you need to avoid is right here. Let me show you. This is where we get the bad rap. This pocket right here. Let me draw should I draw the area that you
yes, yes,
avoid?
yes. Please draw it.
I'll try the area to avoid. Okay.
Yeah,
So this is all GM. So it's not, there's just no homes there. You can see it's all land. But
yeah,
anywhere from Philip Murray to, I would even go, if you were to follow along Philip Murray right to the river and up. So like this. This is the area that I would avoid. Do not buy
do not buy here.
unless you are, I don't know, getting a phenomenal deal or something. But
Yeah,
these are all apartment buildings, right?
okay,
So Cedar and Wentworth, this is where all the big apartment buildings are. There's all apartment buildings here. 1, 2, 3. Whoops, I'm moving my all up in Oxford, apartment buildings, all in here, right? So this is
Mm-hmm.
where you need to avoid, LCBO, all this big, massive apartment building right here. These are all little townhouse complexes, just areas that I wouldn't, this is where the high crime is. This is where when you hear things happening in South Oshawa, this is where I would avoid.
Okay. Well, what's interesting is you don't see things as A, B, C, D areas. You're like invest here, don't invest here, eh? Like,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
I do. I wouldn't be like. I think it depends on the deal in these other areas, right? Like
exactly.
it just still depends on the numbers. And I mean, to me, it's just kind of like, you know, good area or bad area, right? But
Mm-hmm.
even as I say this, there are a couple streets here like Jasper, um,
Yeah.
that aren't bad, right? But it's just like it's got to be a good deal, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Even right around here, Scugog, this street here, yeah, Charbet. There's actually a good couple, like lots of bungalows on this street, and you're kind of getting away from this. You're just right on that border, right? So, if the deal was really good, Dwight actually has all like those purpose built, kind of side by side up and downs,
Yeah, yeah,
that are legal and go for around 600,000. And again, I don't mind that as well, right? Some people
yeah.
don't, but your tenant profile is going to be lower, but you're going to get nice cash flowing properties here. Even Kinmount, they're all semi-detached, but there's some
Mm-hmm.
ones on there that are pretty good. Um, just depends on your appetite, you know. But
Yeah,
this is really what we need to avoid is this area
listen.
here, Porter, all the apartment buildings right here. And what's
Yeah.
interesting is there's already signs for them to be torn down.
Mm.
And there is why I'm really bullish is there is a massive uh, Harbor Street right here. You're going to start hearing about a big condo that's going to go right here
Okay.
in Oxford, South Osh. It
So
Yeah, go ahead.
you said in Lakeview they're gonna tear down apartments.
Yeah,
And I'm guessing the apartments are the reason for a lot of the problems.
yeah.
So as wouldn't that be like potential for for the area to be good? So I could
No.
potentially buy something bad at a cheap price,
Yeah.
but then
Well, this
you
is the
know
thing, right? It's Oshawa's the only city that's backwards, where being away from the water is considered
exact
better, right?
yeah
Where you come down here in the water, in the parks and all that, and some of these streets, Laurentian, um, Oxford, even south of Philip Murray, this little pocket, oh, I love. This is
yeah
the
yeah
this is where we are targeting, or where I like to target the houses on Beaupre and Gasp and Laurentian, Lakeview, Lakeside. Any of these houses, these
yeah
were these new towns were just built, brand new townhouses were just built here. Okay, yeah. So right around here, like all these homes right on the water are $1 million homes on Stone Creek, right? It's just weird area, right? But this little
yeah
right here, um, Lakeview. Um, yeah, just really good bungalows, really good area, and you're right by the water, and you just
yeah
need this area above you to kind of turn around and get better.
yeah
But I have a couple of clients who have properties in here doing really well as far as rents as well. No problem getting tenants. But here you can purchase here for like 650, right?
really
650, you're adding 100K, and then it's worth like 850. So it's not quite worth like nine, like those other areas, the Donovans and McLaughlin's. uh,
yeah
but your rents are going to be identical. Your rents are going to be
mm-hmm.
2,300. There was actually a property here on Park, right on the corner here, that
Mm-hmm.
just rented for 2,300. So again, rents are jumped up dramatically in Oshawa. This used to be
Okay.
like 17 up, 14 down, and rents have just gone through the roof, in this area, as well as prices, of course, right? You used to buy these for 400,000. I had a whole bunch of clients that bought bungalows in here. One guy who bought three of them. One he paid for 387. This was 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, yeah. I remember when I came to your workshop,
Oh,
the prices weren't that high. I was like, I think 400,000, five hundred
yeah.
thousand,
The strategy
and
was buy for four, put 100 in, and it's worth six after. Now it's buy for seven, put 100 in, it's worth nine after. It's just things have gone crazy here,
I think
right?
it's just buy and then just hold, like
Buy
uh,
quality properties, right? That's what I've
yeah.
always said. And you're in an area that you feel has potential for appreciation and growth, and you're cash flowing, not crazy. You're not getting the 1% rule like a lot of the other people talk about or want to get, but it's still positive cash flow in high growth areas, right?
Yeah,
Um,
no, it's a different strategy, right? Like it's just generally in Ontario, like our cap rates are like so low. Like it's more for appreciation, right?
yeah.
I know it's speculative, but like, you know,
hmm
yeah.
So the other
And-
area of South Oshawa I'll touch on here is just this last area right here, that I really like as well. Right here. Yeah, this goes all industrial down here. But this is another part of South Oshawa that I would target, and that are good. I have a couple clients that have properties on Conant here, do really
Mhm.
well. Sharon, Myers, Wolf, Sylvia, all little good streets. Nelson ends up being industrial. All on this side of Nelson is all industrial property. Uh,
Okay.
but all these are bungalows in this little pocket. And again, you're real quick to jump onto the 401. Tenants love that.
Yep.
As South Oshawa gets better and better, and turns over with these new condos being built here, you're going to see that as well. So
Yeah. Do you know when the condos are going to be built?
not for a while. I don't know exactly. They're still just proposal. I know that within the city, the developers have purchased the land and submitted for approval.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, that's kind of a general idea of, I think, the good areas. Again, McLaughlin, Vanier, Donovan for both of these, Eastdale,
Mhm.
these two lake views, and you're avoiding here. You cannot legalize here, and you're avoiding kind of central Oshawa.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Oh, that explains a lot.
Mhm.
Thank you for that, Cam. Um, I actually have a general questions about like how to invest in Oshawa,
Yeah.
right? So like, and I think we briefly touched about on this when you were giving me a rundown on the areas. So like, I personally invest in Sudbury, where like the cash flow is like really good, right? So I'm buying something for 300 and the rents are 3,000, right?
Yeah.
Um, but over here, the burst strategy is more I from what I'm hearing, it's more like the cash flow is not that much. You probably might have to manage it yourself. But like I remember coming to your workshop, I think 2 years ago, maybe might be even less.
Mhm.
And now those properties are we were talking about properties that were 400, and now all of these are at least 600, right, on the buy. So
Yeah.
like, so what are your thoughts on like what's the best kind of like way to do the burst strategy there?
Yeah, I mean, it really depends on. It's a good question because again, what I always promote to people, is what are your goals, right? Do you
Mm-hmm.
want are you simply investing for appreciation? Then somewhere in Toronto that's negative cash flow. Again, I don't like that. You know, might be what you want to gamble on, right, or speculate on, right, or any sort of
Yeah.
reconstruction speculation or condo investing, condo speculation. But way I look at it is, you got Toronto, and Toronto is the hub, right? Toronto is the one that's going to grow. The closer you can get to Toronto while still being cash flow positive is the goal.
Okay.
Me, where if you want cash flow, if you're just investing for pure cash flow, go to Windsor, go to Sudbury, go to Kingston, go somewhere else, right? Where
It's a net worth. Like the burr strategy in Oshawa is really, you're not going to be able to live off the cash flow. I mean, you can barely pay anything off the cash flow. It's just going to be a net worth game, right?
my debate is always like, do you ever get rich off cash flow? Do you
It
ever get
depends.
rich off a
Depends
couple
on the
$100
cash
a month?
flow. That depends on the cash flow.
But
But
even like a
you know
thousand
you're
bucks a month, $1,000 a month versus 200.
exactly right.
You know what I mean? Again, it's everyone's different, right? So I know there's
Yeah.
different people that'll be watching this, but for me, I find Oshawa just that sweet spot where you are hoping for appreciation. That's what you want. But if the market corrects, or if you have vacancies, or if you have issues, it is still positive cash flow. It is still making you money every month, and that investment gets better and better, and you're in an area that is going to continue to appreciate, which, in my
Yeah.
opinion, is where you're making most of your money, right? And again,
Yeah.
I said this same speech, like you said, 2 years ago when these were 350, 400, and now they're
Yeah.
650, right? And I know all of Ontario's gone up, so it's
Exactly.
probably a bad time to be explaining that. But even the rents in Oshawa, man, have gone crazy as well. And for me, I always believe in like picking a market, being an expert in that market.
Exactly.
I think you can get a good deal in any market, right? Like to
100%.
you're jumping around market to market, it's tough because like you see how well I know the market and areas and the homes, and that's how every investor should be if that's your market you're investing in.
Like my strategy for Sudbury is like I just buy them cheap. You know what I mean? I'm getting them 50k. So if I'm buying a house that's worth 250 for 200,
Mhm.
like I've kind of forced my own appreciation there, right?
Yeah.
Um so exactly,
But I
be an
mean, so
expert.
the house I bought in January,
Yeah.
I got off market for 505 in McLaughlin area.
Good.
Um,
Wow.
So I'm going to be in it for like I put 100K down, so I have a 400K mortgage. 130K rental is what I'm budgeting, so I'm going to be in for 230.
Mm,
And it's going to be worth. Well, I'm only going to refi up. My perfect burr is around 820.
okay.
So
But it might go for more, right? Like because normally you
I
said
might
nine
go for
hundred
more,
thousand.
but I want it to cash flow, right? So I'm only
Mm,
going to go up to 820 on my refi.
okay.
I'm going to refi at 820. I also have a partner on that, so that will be me getting all of my money back and
Mm,
I put in initially, and my partner's qualifying for the mortgage.
mm,
So they're going to qualify for the mortgage with an A lender, and it'll cash flow positive. I'll have all of my money out, and I'll own a quality property with a 58-foot frontage in the best area of Oshawa, McLaughlin. So,
and you're kind of positioned for the rise, right? Like,
and that's it, right? And it's just sit there, hang on to it. A garden suites are coming. Garden suites in all my properties because they're over 4,500 square feet. Uh,
mm,
and then in the future, these end up being what happens in Toronto where they tear down and build these multi-million dollar mansions, right? And again,
yeah.
we're talking 10, 15 years down the road, but that's how far out I'm thinking when I'm hanging on to some of these properties. And I think you have that quality piece of land that cash flow from day one, and that cash flow just gets better, right? That's what people
Mm-hmm.
always forget too, is like the most risky time of your investment is day one.
Yeah.
Every day that passes, that
Yeah.
product gets less and less risky, more and more profitable. Uh,
Exactly. I for my first property, when I had a $400 bill, like I was crying because it was during the second month. I
yeah,
was like, I quit, I got like super stressed. But now, like we had $1,000 bill, but that property's gone over $100,000. Like to me, like I'm like, all right, whatever, I don't care, right? So
yeah.
yeah. My second question is, besides like the Burr and the duplex conversion strategy that works well in Oshawa, what are the other opportunities there? Are there opportunities for construction, pre-cons? Like, is that a strong market there?
It's coming actually in Whitby. Whitby, and
Mm,
we just had Whitby's turning into more of like a condo market. Downtown Whitby, there's 5 projects,
mm,
5 condo projects that are coming, possibly even more down the pipeline.
okay.
Downtown Whitby and by the water in Whitby. Oshawa has apartment buildings being built downtown Oshawa, which I don't like. I wish they were condos, but um, Whitby's got a few coming. Station 3 condo right downtown Whitby is one I'm keeping an eye on. Even though I don't invest in pre-construction, I don't want to. I'm so tempted. I'm so like
Yeah,
wanting to, you
you
know.
want to be like one thing, right? You don't want to be chasing every little shiny object,
Yeah,
right?
but the condos are coming from Toronto and just kind of bleeding over to they went to Pickering and then they kind
Yeah.
of skipped Ajax a little bit, but Whitby has a bunch coming and they're looking at it. But again, I know some people are into that strategy. Even after running the numbers, I'm like they want a 20K deposit. or
Mm-hmm.
20% deposit, not 20K. And, it's not going to be built for 3 or 4 years. The one project that sold out really quick here, the Charlotte, they don't even have site plan approval yet. They're still like with the city, and they've sold everything out, right? It's like,
Yeah, that's
I just
crazy.
can't imagine that much kind of that amount of money being tied up for that long, right? It's
And I think someone told me the contracts are sometimes favorable towards the builders because they have.
because they're essentially all off market, right? They're off market. The builders are selling them privately, essentially, and they
Mhm,
create whatever contracts they want, and people just go
exactly.
ahead and sign away. And
Like, and see stuff like, hey, you need to pay rent even if this is not built. Like, there's all sorts of these small clauses in there.
yeah,
So yeah, yeah,
yeah, for
and
me, I'm looking more into the commercial space now.
yeah.
Multifamily properties, 6 units, 8 units, 12 units.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a good market for that. The tricky part is the barrier of entry. What I find right now, the problem is that everybody has 150,000 to invest in real estate.
Yeah.
Everybody, because the market's gone up.
Yeah.
I'm on a call a night right now of people going, "Hey Cam, I got 150K." I'm like, "Let me guess, you got a HELOC on your primary residence with for 150K. Now you're thinking of
Yeah.
doing the burst strategy that you heard, right?" Uh,
Mm,
and so what it's doing is like the local investors are just they're all taking their money, they're all buying second properties, and I really feel like that's what's driving the market up and causing this bubble that's happening. And it's interesting, but if you can get above that, those
6 units, 4 units,
yeah, some of the
12.
commercial investments. There was an amazing property I loved. It was a beer store on a 10-year net lease for
Mm-hmm.
1.5 million, bringing in 87,000 net each year, which is about $7,000 before paying
Per
your per month,
mortgage. Yeah.
before paying your mortgage. The cap rate was 5.8%. I was like, oh, 10-year lease they were on. It's just like you invest in that and take your money to the bank. No stress. You want to talk about hands free and hands off. They take care of the
Yeah.
maintenance, they pay the property tax, they pay your insurance for you. Uh,
Yep. Yep.
commercial leasing is a explosion when you start realizing what triple net leases can do for you as an
Yeah.
investor. So I'm looking more and more into that, and I'm trying to, I think,
Good.
get into that or ahead of that. And this is where you see all the REITs and the big institutions, right? So
Exactly.
the reason why they're there.
Yeah. Yeah. I forget my question, but
Flips we talk about, like I'm actively
yeah.
flipping as well. Like I got 3 projects, and I mean for me, flips can be anywhere, right? As long as if you're talking about an area that I said don't like, those areas that I showed you are more specific
Does
to
it?
legal 2 units, right? To the Burr legal
Mm-hmm.
2 unit strategy. But to me, a flip can be anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Flip can be anywhere. You just have to buy it under market value, run your numbers,
Exactly.
profit. Flipping is hard to help clients with because of that. There's a lot of moving parts, a lot of variables.
Like, you have to, I feel like with flipping and just any market, like you said, you have to be an expert, right? So you understand the risks and you understand the renovations, right? Like I think for you to be a successful flipper, the first thing you need to know how to get a deal cheap, right?
Yep.
That's one big thing. And if it's on the market, you're probably not going to get it cheap, especially if it's Oshawa, right? Like other markets where there's not a lot of active people on the market, yes, but like market like Oshawa, anything close to the GTA, you're not going to get a good, you're not going to get it significantly below market value, and then you to be an expert at renovations, right? To minimize the cost, right? You don't necessarily need to do them, but you need to understand what's being done and what needs to be done, right?
Definitely.
So like it goes back to the advice, like, just kind of grow yourself as an investor, right? It depends what you want, right? Like some people just want to buy something chill, put their money in, and then relax and not think about it for the next 10 years, and they're just happy, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
to me, flipping's like being a realtor or wholesaling.
it's a full-time,
It's a
it's a
full-time job. You're
lifestyle.
active, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I got my wife to quit her job, and she
Hmm.
manages my flips now. So it
Great.
worked well where I'm going, hey, because I'm like, I did one last year where I was like, it was not a shit show. Like we still did well, but it was still just too much for me on my plate, right?
Because you need to get rid of it, right? Like you need to get rid of it at a certain price. Like it's stress. right?
Yeah, but it's just, and you're more market reliant, right? Like you're more like if the market corrects, you're in trouble. Where in the birth,
Exactly.
these properties we're talking about, like the ones I'm not even worried about. If the market
Right.
could crash, I'm going to be fine. The rental
Right.
market will be strong. But when you're relying on just simply, turning that over for a profit, it is market dependent, right? So there is a lot more risk
Exactly.
there and a lot more moving parts. And
Yeah, and especially with the bird, like after 2 years, these go so up. Like, so for example, if I bought a property 4 years ago for $400,000, now it's 600. There's a market correction that goes to 550. Oh my God. Oh my God. I lost, my gain is not 200, it's $150,000. I am so depressed, right?
I know
So,
I got clients that are ready for this and hoping for a correction and ready to for
exactly.
more, right? Which, will naturally in itself slow down the,
Correction,
the
right?
correction. Exactly.
So, yeah. Anyways, thank you so much, Cameron, for mapping it out, just talking about Oshawa and just dropping so much knowledge. If people want to reach out to you, what's the best source of what social media, Instagram,
Yeah,
email?
Instagram Cam Cassidy is my Instagram handle. Cameron
Yeah,
Cassidy Real Estate is Facebook. Yeah, you can find
I'll
me.
drop everything. And you also have really nice works. Are you still doing them, by the way? The workshops on Saturday?
I was doing them virtually a little bit when the pandemic first started, but they will
Mm,
100% be coming back. They were a lot of fun. We'd, meet at the
yeah,
office. We'd, have a little, 15-20 minute to get people up to speed that didn't know about them. Then we go look at 3 or 4 properties that were for sale in Oshawa and kind of talk about the renos, talk about what needs
yep.
to be done to legalize, and 100% they're coming back. I enjoyed those a lot. And
Okay.
we'd get some good groups of 10, 15 people out and have go for lunch after and just chat,
Yeah.
work.
No,
And
I came. I loved it. I actually didn't know much about the burn when I first came. I think it was maybe 2 years ago, and I learned a lot. Like, because there's a lot of YouTube videos, but there's not a lot of sessions, right? Like, a session is different, right? Because
well, until you like get to a house and you're like,
I,
okay, this is a Burr property. Okay, wow, this is where my
yeah,
parking would go. This is where the laundry goes. Wow, this
exactly.
is the ceiling height.
And it's like, is it tall enough? Is it can we throw in an
Yeah,
egress window? What's an egress window, right?
exactly
So,
right. Seeing something firsthand is a big difference, right?
yeah, yeah. So, yeah. Anyways, thank you.
My pleasure, man. My pleasure.